Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Telecom Reseller. And today I'm with Shahar Millman, who's the Vice President for Business Development of Galooli. Shahar, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me, Doug. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm really excited about this podcast because we're going to be talking about something we often don't get to talk about much, and that is remote monitoring analytics for sites and assets. And not only that, something called AOT and the remote management of AOT. We're going to be talking about that in just a minute, but Shahar, first, what is Galooli?
Well, Galooli is a company, very interesting company, a leading innovator of remote management AOT, which is the analytics of things, so solutions, and with a distinct focus on maximizing the fleet electric power performance. So Galooli has developed an advanced hardware and software solution that enables the seamless and efficient management of remote assets. So we offer a range customized solutions for both stationary and mobile assets. And we supply services from telecommunication towers to the automotive industries and provide customers with the ability to manage all types of remote assets, basically through one smart integrated platform.
So let's define a couple of things. First of all, let's define what do you mean by a remote asset? What is that?
Remote asset could basically be anything that we could connect to and manage the information from that asset. So it could be either a car, so a company that has a fleet of cars, could be a leasing companies, a rental companies, or just a company that has a fleet of a certain amount of cars that is an asset. This is actually an asset that we can connect to and use that data in order to manage and analyze the driver behavior, for example, and other stuff. Could be another assets for example, telecommunication sites. Okay, so telecommunication sites have towers. They have backup batteries or generators, rectifiers. We are actually able to connect to all that and monitor the information and do the analytics of things for all the sites and bring it to the end customers for usage.
So it's interesting what we define a remote asset could be something that's mobile, like a car, or a fixed asset, like a remote site.
That's right. We can basically integrate to both of them and use both of them as an asset in order to generate more information. And in today's world, when we talk about taking the AI adaptation in many industries, it is becoming part of the business mainstream. So by connecting sites and assets to an artificial intelligence powered SaaS or service, software as a service solution, organization can actually make smart management data driven decisions through full coverage of their stationary and the mobile assets. So perform remote analytics, make assets last longer by changing customers and system behaviors, and also tighten the security, of course.
So then we're talking about, with regard to your company, something called AOT and the remote management of AOT. So what does AOT mean?
AOT is basically the analytics of things. That's the phrase for AOT. So basically doing analytics of data and information that we gather from those assets that we just mentioned previously.
And why do you need the analytics of things?
Well, analytics of things can take us into different worlds and aspects of a company. When we're talking about what exactly we provide, we are able to provide customers with real-time tracking and monitoring in order to control which managers are really seeking endlessly. So basically, understanding how to prioritize maintenance and repairs to provide the most efficient and cost-effective results that could be very dramatic and a game changer for a company. So absolutely today, for example, in a situation where COVID affects us all, we are able to remote sites, which are extremely tough to handle or manage by the obvious restrictions that we have today. So this enables a significant cost reduction with better controlled services, as well as operating under safety restrictions that are so crucial in these days.
What are the benefits of these products?
Well, the benefits are a variety. So basically, I could talk about all kind of benefits, but when I'm looking at the specific products that we are able to deliver, and maybe I will distinguish three of them. So maybe I can talk about specific examples. I could refer to, one example is our battery tracking and monitoring patent solution that is used for both lead-acid batteries and lithium-ion batteries, for example. Our unit is used by battery OEMs and telecom sites for battery data monitoring. So you're able to predict the state of health and state of charge diagnostics. And we're also able to give an anti-theft solution. Apparently, in batteries, is an extreme phenomenon worldwide. So we are able to monitor the batteries by GPS solution as well, and we have 100% theft prevention success with the proven cases at an average of ROI of 5 months. So this is an extremely amazing ROI for this type of application. Secondly, we're also into the technology of solar AI, for example. So this is an optimizing energy sources using algorithms, and we have been able to cut costs over thousands of sites by preventing, for example, generators which are running simultaneously with solar energy. So obviously, avoiding what we're trying to do is avoid the energy waste by battery overcharge. So by keeping the battery state of charge between the normal range. And I think the last option that I can talk about and is very crucial one is the fuel monitoring, for example. This is a dramatic cost-effective game changer for companies. In one of our projects, our customer managed to decrease their annual fuel consumption by 50 million liters just by using our technology. And of course, it's not for one specific monitoring solution. It's monitoring on hundreds of sites, but by decreasing 50 million liters of fuel, this is a huge saving by itself. But there's another aspect to it, and linking that OPEX savings into environmental credit, which is even more fascinating, is becoming a huge asset for companies, bottom line. Just to give you some background on that, 50 million liters is something like equivalent to 130,000 tons of carbon dioxide. And it has a market value, in today's market value is approximately $4.6 million. That's a huge number. And companies are consistently selling and buying credits to reduce carbon emissions. So just a couple of examples, in 2019, I think Ericsson set a carbon neutral target for their own operations by 2030. Microsoft as well, they will be a carbon negative by 2030. Starbucks looks at being resource positive by 2030. And looking at Q2 2020 financial results of Tesla has revealed 7% earnings, which came from sales of environmental credits. That's a huge number. That's almost $430 million, which Tesla had wrote down in the financial result of Q2 2020. So The analytics of things are really helping companies to generate OpEx savings in a dramatic fashion, especially today with all the carbon emissions and the credit reductions.
So like you were saying, it really sounds like anybody who has major assets that are remote, like a company with a fleet, a rental car company, companies that use a lot of batteries, and of course our own industry, telecommunications. These customers must really benefit from your services.
Yeah, definitely they do. And the nice thing about it is they're all connected. Even if it's a fleet or a telecom, they can all be connected on the same platform, and they really benefit from generating the OpEx saving. We constantly are dealing with the customers in order to try and improve and to save as much as possible for the end customer on the OpEx saving. This is the main target and goal of the company.
So it sounds to me like you're not only providing the ability to track products and do some theft or shrinkage prevention, but that you're providing information that can allow a company with remote assets and energy usage to cut their energy costs.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we're supplying the data and the information to the companies, and like I mentioned previously, we're supplying the most efficient data in order to save the cost. And as I mentioned, the fuel energy, the fuel savings, energy saving, the solar AI that we do. Galooli provides in the three market verticals, such as the plug-and-play OBD fleet connectivity or the field telecom RTUs. We're able to connect to rectifier generators, batteries for off-grid or hybrid sites, and this enables the customers really to understand their assets and what they're spending their money on and how to save it.
How do we buy your products? Can you buy them directly, or do you buy it through a channel?
Okay, so it's basically it's a mix of direct sale and distributors and channel partners. I would say that direct sales would be the favorable one since it generates the highest added value to the customers. We have partnered with some very significant OEMs on our battery technology products. So we're proudly, we have great partners that understand and appreciate the product and the value of the solution delivered.
It sounds like it's easy to implement as an end user.
Yeah, it's quite easy to implement. Depends on the solution itself. As I mentioned, we have a couple of different applications from OBD connectivity to cars, which is very easy, to more complicated, which is a solution of batteries, for example, that works together with the OEM. So that's a different aspect. But at the end of the day, once the units are connected and depending on the product, Galooli's products are based on a GPRS connectivity, which is delivering the data collected to our cloud-based analytics predictive engine, and it is redirected to the customer servers or to the NOC, the Network Operation Center of the client, or desktop or mobile app. So
now, 2020 has been a kind of unusual year, to say the least, for a lot of companies and ideas and programs. Has your business changed this year?
Yeah, definitely. Like everybody else, everybody is affected in this in this COVID time frame and the situation we're facing. As I mentioned, we have two separate businesses running simultaneously, but I can tell you that, for example, the fleet management has quite stopped dramatically since March until probably the end of June, July. It picked up since then. But on the other side, the telecom aspect is absolutely booming. The batteries OEM are running and producing on a massive amounts with all the 5G entering the US and new tower sites are being deployed. There's a lot of new business running into the market, and this is really keeping the momentum.
What else should we know?
Well, I think you should know that basically Galooli is collecting over 90 million points of data on a daily basis. We monitor, we analyze, we act proactively to change the customers and the system behavior. And we really, it is a result-driven company that is focusing on customer OpEx saving. I think this is the bottom line of what we do and what we try to achieve and to bring the added value to the customer.
You know, it sounds like that really is true, because the amount of money that can be lost if people are just walking away with batteries, and also if you can't get your arms around your energy costs, those are just simple margin improvements.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a game changer, and you know, protecting the data and protecting the asset is the number one, you know, number one asset of a company that you want to make sure that you protect it. And I think this market, the IoT, industrial IoT market, is a huge market. It tripled itself from 2019. It's supposed to triple itself from 2019 to the 2025 and reach about $740 billion market. So this is extremely large market with an over 20% of compounded average growth rate. So very nice leap in the jump for this market. It's a really big one.
So as we wrap up our podcast today, can you just tell us a little bit about how telecom managers, IT managers with UC responsibilities can really benefit from Galooli?
Yeah, definitely. By connecting to the assets and monitoring and controlling the assets and using the information with our tools and technology, they can definitely have much better understanding of where their assets are located, what is the situation, what is the state of health and state of charge of those units, and definitely have a much better control and deliver the OpEx saving that is really needed in each and every company, especially in those days.
So Shahar, thank you very much for joining us today and for giving us really a unique podcast on AOT and remote management of AOT and the importance of watching those remote assets, how they're consuming energy, how they're being used, and also making sure those batteries don't just sort of walk off. Where can we learn more?
Definitely, Doug. Thank you very much for having me. And of course, you can learn more always in the website. So you can log into www.galooli.com. So Galooli is Galooli. And you can definitely see all the full coverage in the website with products and services, as well as the press releases and videos, and also apply to our partner program.
Well, Shahar, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for having me.